everybody. This is Gregory with 5-Minute Catholic Apologetics, where 5 minutes of your time may get you to the divine. Today, we're going to continue the series, Liturgical Abuses That Drive Me Crazy, with part 6. Now, before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri, Filio et Spiritui Sancto. Secutor in principio, nunc et semper, et secula seculorum. Amen. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancto. All right, so I'll put banners in for the previous episodes. I might just need to create a playlist because I'll run out of banners because you can only put 5 banners in an episode in YouTube. So I definitely will put the past banners, so check out the previous episodes. So now we're at part 6. I think part 5 was actually recorded in the cathedral over in Chicago, but definitely check out the past episodes. So look, when I do these liturgical abuses episodes, I mean these in charity because I think a lot of Catholics want to have a reverential, solemn Mass, and I think there are certain Catholics or just humans that like things to be followed by the directions that they need to be followed in. So in the general instruction of the Roman Missal, the germ lays out exactly how the Mass is supposed to be, and that you're not supposed to innovate it or add things to it. But you'll see priests that either are reformist in nature or they're just outright change agents, or I don't know, but they like to add different things. And this is what frustrates us, because I should be able to go to a Mass, whether it be extraordinary, ordinary form, anywhere, and it should be essentially the exact same Mass, just in a different language with slight different cultural expectations. But a lot of these abuses in these different episodes are just, especially in America, I find to be distracting and egregious. So let's just get to it. Number 1, let's please not have anything on the altar that's not supposed to be on the altar. Now, sometimes you'll see potted plants. I mean, during Gay Pride Month, there was a couple of churches that had the pride flag unfurled over the altar. And the altar itself needs to be in marble, something that shows this is a holy sacrifice of the Mass. This is a big deal, not these wooden IKEA tables that I could assemble. But either way, let's keep stuff that's not reverential off of the altar. If you want to have some nice candles, that's great. And look, I don't even have a problem with the priest having a little cup of water for them to drink. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, so long as they're not doing it like every 10 seconds. But, you know, sometimes there's older priests and they need water. I don't have a problem with that. I just don't like this kind of like, almost makes it look, the altar look like it's Wiccan when you have all this green plant stuff on it. Number 2, poorly dressed extraordinary ministers of the Eucharist. Why would it, you know, I think having extraordinary ministers is not needed at all. I understand the reformist zeal, let's get the lay involved. Well, there's other ways to get the lay involved. And if you say that we need 12 extraordinary ministers to come up to administer, look, go to a Latin Mass. They can, do people line up on the altar, you know, one priest, even maybe a priest and a deacon, they can knock those out almost in the same speed, if not faster. But if we're going to have extraordinary ministers, which I'm not a big fan of, I feel like only those who confect the Eucharist should administer the Eucharist, just ordained people, just either the priest or the deacon, and that's it. But if you're going to have extraordinary ministers, can we not have a policy that the men must be wearing a suit and a tie, and the women must be dressed well? I can't tell you how many Sunday Masses and daily Masses where, I mean, people wearing a visor, you know, the middle-aged ladies who wearing just sloppy clothes, just casualness. And again, we have this episode about like why is it not surprising that 70 to 80% of Catholics don't believe in the real presence? Because when they look around growing up and older, they don't see any type of solemnity, sacredness. And one of it is these are people that are ministering the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord Jesus Christ. And they're just t-shirts, casual attire. And that says a lot. Like, we're going to Mass. This is a very important thing. And look at pictures from the older days. Everybody would dress up, and now it's just like, kind of like airplane travel. Everyone used to dress up for that. Now it's like, So can't you have a policy, if you're not dressed, I'm sorry, we don't need you. We'll make do with the 11 extraordinary ministers. We'll make do. But there needs to be standards. Number 3, can we stop with the introducing of people before Mass? It's one of the 2 things before Mass. If you're new to our parish, stand up. Or like, turn around. With COVID, thank God this has gone away, a lot of it, but turn around and introduce yourself. Why do I need to introduce myself to people around me? Right? This is the Protestantization of the Mass. I don't need to know who's around me. This isn't fellowship time. This is the holy sacrifice of the Mass. It's a vertical thing. It's not a horizontal thing. I could have President Biden next to me and be like, I don't care. It's not about holding hands, which again, go to episode 1, is against the general instruction of the Roman Missal and shouldn't be done. It's not about holding hands. It's not about standing up and I get it, right? They want to increase fellowship because they think misguidedly, and like how misguided is it when Annibale Bernini, the architect of the Novus Ordo Mass, said that he wanted to make the Mass more Protestant. I mean, this is in his words. I think there's this misguided idea that if we make the Mass more Protestant, we'll get more converts. But that hasn't borne out well at all in the last 6 years. And in fact, most of the conversion growth is in the traditional liturgies because the traditional liturgies actually represent something there's actually a stark difference. And it's like kids who don't like bad Christian pop because it's bad Christian pop. All you're doing when you Protestantize the Mass is just turning it into a bad, I would say bad Mass, but I would say that it's, the Protestants aren't really going to be drawn by that. They're going to be drawn to the maybe the more solemn Eastern liturgies of the Latin Rite Mass. But either way, I should say the Latin Mass, not Latin Rite. Let's stop with the introductions. There's no reason to do it. I mean, I guess there's this idea, like if you want to like welcome at the door, okay. But like having people stand up when they're not even comfortable doing it, stand up. No, please. I mean, we'll do, you know what, we'll do one more. And there's another one that drives me crazy. So we'll do 5 here. Number 4, lay homilies. Now, luckily, I've not seen a lot of these in person in my 48 years or whatever, 38 years of remembering going to Mass. But I have seen these. And normally it's where the priest will go. Now, if you don't know, only ordained can give a homily. So a deacon or a priest, or that's it, or a bishop. But I've seen it where a priest will go up there and give like a 2-minute homily, not even a homily, just like a talk. And then, okay, now we're going to have blah, 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 come and speak. And it can be a nun. I've seen a nun do it. I've seen lay people do it. You saw this egregious abuse where they had 2 open homosexuals come up and give a homily. That was about a month ago. No. Again, the general instruction of the Roman Missal cannot be abused. And the reason we can't abuse it is because once you open the door to adding stuff to it, then you can add whatever you want to it, kind of going the traditional definition of marriage. You know, once it went away from being a procreative union to make kids and to educate them in the faith, and then secondarily to be an act of conjugal love, when you flipped it and made it, well, it's an act of conjugal love, then at that point, then it does open the door to homosexual marriage, because why not? That's an act of conjugal love. They're in love. Why can't they get married? But either way, so the lay homily needs to go. Look, if there are people that have the gifts of the Holy Spirit in homiletics that are lay, well, I mean, if it's a man, then go be a deacon. Or if it's a woman or if it's a layman, then do a Bible study. I mean, there's outlets for you, but the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass and the homily is not a place for it. And in extension of that, I'll add another one. Part 5 is the post-homily homily. So either the priest will give the homily or the deacon will give the homily, and at the end of Mass, sit down for announcements, which we talked about in a previous episode. Why do I need to sit for 5 minutes of announcements if we have the bulletin? It's just a waste of time. But sometimes the priest will do an announcement, and then he'll go off on a 5-minute addendum, like a postscript homily. We'll talk for 5 more minutes. It's like, well, look, either save it for the next homily, or how about if you assign the deacon to do the homily, well, then, unfortunately, you didn't get to the homily, wait till next time. But this idea of the post-Mass second homily, I feel to be a sin of pridefulness that I need to say these things to impact change. And like, I get it, but there's a place for that. So you could say at the end of Mass, I have some things I'd like to share, I'll be, blah, 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 blah. But to add in a sermon is wrong. It's wrong to do that. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily a waste of people's time, but it's just not appropriate at all. either wait till the next week to do it, or just save it to yourself. Not every pearl of wisdom that I ejaculate out of my mouth or others do is something that needs to be heard. And I think that is a sin of pridefulness to a certain extent. So guys, these are 5. I threw in a bonus one. Please post in the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree, or if you've experienced any of these. I'd really like to hear from you. And again, these are all made in charity. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Share with other people. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.